What's up, everybody? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? And I know this weekend and this week, everybody is probably geared up and went to the movies to check out the Avengers. It's been kicking ass at the box office. Probably the greatest superhero movie ever. Yeah, best believe that. I did my review. My review is up on my main channel. Check it out if you want to. For this week, no shout out this week because everybody it's just a good time, good feeling. So pretty much shout out to everybody out there, especially all my subscribers and everything like that. So even still, with the Avengers, I still had time to read my comics and deliver a review to you guys. So let's kick it off. So kicking off the first week of May with the comics. As always, I like to change the lineup of how I display them. So this time it's going to be DC, Independent, and Marvel, so to speak. So we'll kick it off with DC, and we'll kick it off with Batwing, number 9. This is continuing the Night of the Owl story arc. Okay, this is Jude Winnick still writing, as well as I'm really becoming a real big fan of Marcus Toe's artwork. It's really good, very crisp, very, he knows how to place, muscle tone and everything like that. Very well proportioned characters. So Batwing is dealing with, of course, the Talons of this, of course, and the Talons come after Lucius Fox. And so basically it's pretty much Batwing fighting off the Talon, and he's getting to know what they can do, how strong their regenerative powers are, and things like that. So Batwing has to deal with the Talons, and he deals with them pretty well, to the point where it even makes me wonder, can the Talons heal from what Batwing did to one of them? But very good in the first, very good so far. I enjoyed it. As I said before, if you're not on Batwing and you really want to get into the character, you should check it out. Very good. Alright. Moving along, the Detective Comics, number 9, still continuing the Night of the Owls event that's going on. Tony Daniels is the writer, and Sandu Flory is the artist on this. So this time the Talons go after the director of Arkham, and it's up to Batman to stop the Talons from taking out the director of Arkham. Even though Arkham, the director, I'm forgetting the full name of him, but his last name is Arkham, and he basically is, so to speak, trying to deal with what goes on in between that. But it kind of comes to a conclusion because of the fact that the Arkham residents actually kind of help out Batman in a way. Clayface and people like that, they kind of help out with the Talons. But it was good. Tony Daniels is still no slouch at this, and very good. I've been enjoying the Night of the Owls event. Can't wait to see how this ends, though. So we move on. Okay. Whatever you get, I get. Okay, so basically we'll move on to, guys. Sorry, I was talking about bro. We'll move on to one of the books of the second wave of DC that I was interested in, and because of the fact that the JSA members are going to be in this book, and that is none other than James Robinson, Earth 2. Yes, picked it up, of course, the epic beginning. Get a look at that cover, people, because that's the last time you're going to see those three in this book. Yes, indeed. Spoiler alert, guys. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all die in this book from Earth 2. They're all dead. The Trinity is dead. And so that kicks off really an interesting take now. Like, okay, what happens now? Batman sacrifices himself, Superman gets killed, and Wonder Woman is killed by Steppenwolf. So that really picks up right there. That was where it got really like, oh crap. It really gave me a conclusion of where James Robinson is going to go with this book. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, killing off the Trinity like that was like, whoa, you know. And we see what happens to Robin, Bruce's daughter, Helena Wayne, and Kara, and that leads into the next book. The book I'm going to talk about later. But a big start for James Robinson, and the fact that we get to see Alan Scott and a younger Jay Garrett. Now, I'm a little on the cuff about that. You know, Jay Garrett being younger instead of being older that he is. But we kind of see him come into what's going to happen in the next book. But this is a bold move for James Robinson to kill off the Trinity. I was like, wow, bold move. But you know what? To me, if this book doesn't focus on these three, gives other people time to shine, you got a thumbs up for me. Because sometimes I think you don't always need these three to sell a book. That's just me. Alright, we're going to make this quick because I really haven't been feeling this story arc with Green Arrow number 9, Battle on the Barren Wasteland. Short and sweet, guys. Bottom line, Ollie is saved by some of the people that have been looking for him after his run-in with the Skylarks and their father, and he goes back to civilization later on, and to find out that some things have happened in there. But other than that, that's it. I really haven't been enjoying this this story arc. Hope the issue 10 gets a lot better, so to speak. I really want to see him back to basics, back in Seattle, and not somewhere far out in the north like he was. Kind of out of his element in a way. That's just me. So that was it. Sorry. I'm sorry, Arrow fans, but yeah, that's how I felt about that book. Alright, Dan Jurgens on Justice League in International, number 9. OMAC attacks. Yes. OMAC is basically comes and starts attacking, but it's we get kind of a conclusion of why he's attacking. And him and Guy Gardner go at it for a while. We get a little bit more of Godiva in there, and she's talking about why she joined the JLI. It was basically a request by the prince himself. So when she said it, when the prince and king and prince says king and country orders you to do something, it's like that's not a way to say no. So it was all right. We get an all-clusion of what happened to OMAC and why he's been attacking. It was all set up by the villain in this breakdown, he and his cohorts. August General in Iron, I hope I'm saying his name right, I'm always getting this guy's name wrong, understands what it's like to be trapped in another body, and he realized that. But just when it seems like everything is going well, when they're about to go to Paris to deal with what's going on there, they're interrupted by Firestar and all the others, which the story will continue in. There's going to be a crossover in Firestorm, which I really want to get into Firestorm, and I might pick it up, but I'm hoping if I can pick up the first 8 issues before. If I can't find it in single issues, I'll get it in trade, but I'm looking more forward to getting them in single issues, because I'm more of a single issue kind of guy than a trade. I only go to trade if necessary, need be. But yeah, this was still good. It was very good, so to speak. And I love the interaction between Batman and Batwing talking about if Booster Gold is really from the future. I love that. I thought that was really cool. All right, so moving on to Red Lanterns. Peter Milligan, no Ed Benz again. Man, I want him back on the artist. But this is some serious stuff in this book, guys. The Red Lanterns are dying out, and yeah, oh no, it's like, is it gonna end for them? And they have to deal with what's going on. Atrocitus is like, all right, we are going to find out who is. Let's put our differences aside and go look for the corporates the cohorts who are doing this. Who destroyed the central battery and everything like that. And we kind of get that in this. But yeah, things are not looking good for the Red Lanterns. And it looks like they're going to come interactive with Stormwatch. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing with that. Once again, a book I'm not reading. So, even though I know who the characters are in Stormwatch, I'm not reading that book. Alright, the first annual so far of the New 52. Teen Titans annual number 1. This is the Culling, part 1 of 4. Scott Liddell, Tom DeFalco, Brent Booth. Okay, so we get to see some interesting characters that are involved in all this. The Titans, of course, Legion lost, members of the Legion of superheroes that are lost. We get to see the new Thunder and Lightning. We even get to see a girl calling herself Artemis in this. We also get to see Beast Boy. And we get to see a lot of people that are being controlled by Nowhere. And their leader known as Heartless. And of course we get to see that god-awful looking new design of Warblade. Ugly. But this was very intense stuff. I really enjoyed it. We got a fight between the Legion Lost members and the Teen Titans until they put their differences aside and knew who the real bad guy of the group was. It was fun. It was really down packed, and Tim really takes center stage in this. He's really to the point of like, we're gonna stop Harvest. We're gonna stop this no matter what. I'm coming for you. After a certain character here dies, he's yelling at Harvest like, I'm coming for you, Harvest. Nothing's gonna stop me from coming after you. But the real question is, where did Skitter go? Skitter disappears, so to speak, like maybe in the first panel of the operations. But we'll see where this goes. Now, I don't mind that the $4.99 price tag on this. It is annuals are usually high, so to speak. But this is only part 1 of the Culling. The other part is in Superboy, and then part 3 is in Legion Lost, and it'll end back in Teen Titans. Now, for all those of my subscribers out there that are reading Superboy and Legion Lost, please, if you can, I would appreciate if you give me, send me a personal message if you read that, and give me like an overview of the book, so I'm up to speed of what's going on in those books. So when I read part 4 of this, I'm like, okay, I know where I'm dealing with, because I don't read Superboy and I don't read Legion Lost. Okay, so I would appreciate that if you can, need be. Thank you. And last but not least, another one of the 3 books of the second wave that I'm interested in, which I'm going to pick up. And the next one is Huntress and Power Girl, World's Finest, Part 1. Yeah, they changed Power Girl's costume once again. It's not sleeveless anymore. Still looks like Supreme to me. But this gets us up on the speed of what happened the 5 years since Helena Wayne and Karen Starr have been in the New 52 universe. We see they're caught up. This is what happened to them when they tried to fly to get back, and when in dealing with, we saw them in Earth 2 book, and then this is where it catches up right here. So we get to see that. And we also get to see more of Helena basically burning her passport of being known as Helena Bertinelli, and she goes on talking to Karen about who should I be now. She got all these passports of who she can be. Karen's really in her way of things. We get to see a lot of things that go on, like where Karen got her money, where Helena got her money. They've all pretty much stolen. Helena stole money from her, from the Bruce Wayne of of Earth, of the 52 universe, and things like that. But it was good so far. They're dealing with their first enemy together, known as Hotaku. Otaku. Haku. I think that's it. Yeah, Haku. There we go. The irradiated man. And Perez's artwork is very good. Uh, Paul Levitz does a pretty good job on this, but I'm really interested to see where they take the girls and things like that. But an interesting start so far. But I can't say anything about Paul Perez's artwork. Just superb, and I'm looking forward to where they take the female version of World's Finest. Alright, so that's all my DC that I picked up today. And we move on to independent. I have 2 from Dynamite and 1 from IDW. Now, like my mentor, Ed, Blue Goblin, he reviewed this book earlier. Now, like I said, my comic place didn't get it till now. And that is none other than TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 9. Kevin Eastman doing still a marvelous job on this book. IDW. This book felt like the first, episode 4, I believe, of the 1987 Turtles cartoon, where Splinter is captured and the Turtles need to go find him. This is pretty much what it felt like. Ohub, the mutated cat, took Splinter back to Stockman, and they're about to do experiments on him. April has woken up and she's hearing the story of of what the Turtles happened. And she even talks about how she named them, all their names and things like that. So she's still kind of reeling from when she fainted in the last issue about seeing the Turtles. But she wants to help. She wants to help them, and that's typical April. We all know that. But besides that, she wants to know what's going on at Stockman, because that Baxter Stockman Incorporated, because that's where she was. So the Turtles go in to basically infiltrate Stockman Incorporated, or I guess that's the name of it, to find their father, their master, Splinter. And it gets really intense there. However, the ending. Splinter is kidnapped again, but this time by some individuals that we were all waiting to make their debut in this book officially. And their leader, and I'm not going to spoil that. If you know who I'm talking about, there you go. But yeah, he makes his debut. Very good stuff. Turtles still killing it. Alright, so we move on to Dynamite, and another cult favorite hero has joined back into the comics. And the writer on this is David List. His last work was Black Panther, Man Without Fear. I thought he did a pretty decent job on that book. And we're talking about none other than Dynamite Comics number 1, The Spider. I picked up the Alex Ross cover. That is a beautiful cover. I'm gonna be trying to get all of Alex Ross's covers. Very beautiful. The Spider. For all those who don't know the Spider, he pretty much came around the time of like the Green Hornet, all those Hulk Cap, like the Shadow and people like that. His real name is Richard Wentworth. He's a soldier. He comes back to his hometown of New York, and he comes around and he's a vigilante known as the Spider. He's got these web-like guns and things like that, Another fedora-like character. You can see his fedora. But he's a soldier. His real name is Wentworth. He's pretty much rich, but due to his father's company, so he doesn't really have to worry about money. But he helps out the NYPD as a consultant because of his dealings as a soldier and things like that. This was really good. I love the artwork in this by Colton Worley. His artwork is real. This felt like a really gritty crime drama. I like the crime drama feel to this. And it was great. I really enjoyed this. Not going to spoil too much. If you want to know more about the Spider, research him. But if you're really interested in seeing where Dynamite takes a lot of their they got the Shadow back, Green Hornet, Flash Gordon. They're just bringing a lot of classics now back and bringing them either into the modern time or keeping them where they shine the best. But with the Spider, they brought him back in the modern age, and it's good stuff. Really good. David List, you do a very good job on this. I'm looking forward to seeing where you take the Spider. He has a really kind of, I love his philosophy is really different. To me, he feels that the bad guys don't deserve a second chance. You do wrong, you're getting dealt with. You're getting dealt with. Punisher-like, but more degree. They don't deserve second chances. But good stuff. Voltron Year One. This is part 2. Brandon Thomas. Thank you again. We get to see what happens with Sven and the group on their first mission. Now remember, guys, this is Year One. This is before the team had Voltron, so they're still just called Space Squadron 686. All hell goes wrong on their mission. There's a death, and Sven takes the heat from the Galaxy Alliance from it. But what are you going to do sometimes? Sometimes missions go wrong, even when it's a Black Ops mission or Special Ops mission. Things go definitely wrong, and we see that in this book. But Sven knows that it wasn't his squadron. It was the fact that the Alliance kept something from him. If their cover was blown, that's pretty much it. So he knows that you can't blame us for that. And that's how Sven is looking at it. But he's still having the nightmares that he had in the first issue about more missions going wrong. More of his comrades like Keith and Pidge and Hunk and all them dying in the process. But once again, this is before Princess Leia gets involved as well. Leia, and of course and when they get Voltron. But still, Brandon Thomas does a good job on it. Alright, so we move on to, so that's all independent. We move on to Marvel, and I have a pretty decent amount of Marvel, just like I did for DC. And we'll get off with the world's greatest superhero, The Amazing Spider-Man number 685, Ends of the Earth Part 4, I believe. Dan Slott still kicking ass in this book. It's starting to realize that now Spidey and the gang and Silver Sable and Black Widow are pretty much world's public enemy number 1 now. Even S.H.I.E.L.D. now wants to bring them in. And it's coming to conclusions like they're on their own now. Unless they get some help. And that's what happens in this. Spidey realized he needs help outside of the United States. So he starts asking for help from other heroes outside of the United States, like Union Jack, the Titanium Man, the Big Team 6, the Japanese team, Kangaroo, an Australian superhero who is a kangaroo. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. No disrespect to the land down under. I'm not messing with that. And we really get in depth of Peter giving this speech And then, you know, Peter like, man, I'm glad I had the mask on, because if I'd have did that, I don't know if I could do it. But Silver Sable comes in and says how she trusts Spider-Man, he's a good hero, and things like that. And we start to see something like, does Silver Sable have affections for Spider-Man? Because she even mentions, he's like, you know, Spider-Man, she gives him this pep talk, and then she says, Spider-Man, you know, and then he cuts her off and says, she needs, and then Silver says, she? And he's like, yeah. And then, she must be a lucky woman. And it was like, whoa, Silver Sable has some affections for Spider-Man. And I was like, maybe Marvel, y'all should touch up more on this. Dan Slott, you know, y'all should really go further with this. I've always said Peter needs a girlfriend now that is maybe super, maybe not super, but needs someone that can take care of herself as well. And I wish they had really had more. They really would have really did that where they were going with that, the whole thing with him and Ms. Marvel. Yeah, I'm not calling her Captain Marvel until she officially becomes that. Because I really thought that would have been interesting to have Peter dating Carol, and because she was really having some affections as well from that Parker Luck. There it is. But still good nonetheless, very good. And what happens at the end? Doc Ock is not playing at all. Very good stuff. Dan Slott, no doubt. All right, round 3, X-Men versus Avengers versus X-Men, round 3. Ed Brubaker takes the helm on this one. Still artwork by Ramada Jr. And bottom line, we see some folding between Cap as well. That cover explains it all. There is a fight between Captain America and Wolverine in this. Because Cap feels that Wolverine is just willing to kill Hope instead of maybe trying to save her. And Wolverine's looking at it like, we're gonna die if the Phoenix comes in. She's already strong as it is, even without the Phoenix. What happens if she does? There's a fight in between there at the end of the book, pretty much. And Cap does something, and Hank does something that kind of like, damn, Cap, like that's how you're gonna play it, you know. Even Tony, even Iron Man, even says something to Tony as well. Says something to Cap as well, Steve, about the way he's thinking about doing things now. Because Tony even says, you're starting to sound like when I was running during this, you know, Civil War and everything like that. And, you know, it kind of comes off like that. But yeah, just seeing what Cap and Hank does and do, and Sharon, because Sharon was involved in it too. But it was like, whoa, okay, is that how you're gonna play it, Cap? But we're getting down. We're gearing up to the finish off the first act of this event, and it's getting intense now. I gotta admit, it's getting intense. And we also see that there could be a sympathizer on Wolverine's X-Men team as well. Actually, we do. I'm not gonna spoil who that is. All right. Next up, Daredevil number 12. The Man Without Fear. Here comes Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. Mark Waid takes the time out, not to get really into action, but give Matt some downtime on what's gone on with him for the first couple of issues. Matt goes on a date in this time. He goes on a date, and he goes on a date with a district attorney that has been claiming that he's Murdoch. He's not Murdoch. That he's Daredevil. I'm getting tongue-tied, guys. Forgive me. And he goes on a date with her, and he blindfolds her to kind of get her notion of what it feels like to be blind. And he takes her on a date in an amusement park. But not only that, we get a more in-depth story. Wade takes more of an in-depth story of what him and Foggy were like when they were in Columbia University in law school together. And that was really intense. The fact that it shows that Foggy Nelson was a good student, but there was one professor that seemed to have it in for him and accused him of plagiarizing a paper and failing him and getting him nearly kicked out of college, Columbia University. And it was Matt Murdock, as the good friend he is, that helped make sure that didn't happen. Very good story. I really enjoyed that, showing how good of a friend Matt Murdock is. And the woman saying, I'm forgetting her name, the district attorney, saying like, Foggy owes you a lot. And he basically saying, Foggy doesn't owe me anything. He doesn't owe me anything. I did it because, what's real is real, and that's who I am. But it's the ending as well that kind of gives a factor that the Black Spectre, one of the criminal organizations that was going after that hard drive that Matt had, is still out there. And they're still around, and they're going to deal with it. But still good. Mr. Wade, still, you do a good job. Okay, moving on. Make this pretty quick because it really wasn't too much to tell about, because this really felt more like, let me just put it like this. Defenders number 6. The other immortal weapons like Danny here are being killed off. Fat Cobra here, another one of the immortal weapons, barely survives. And Matt, and he comes on the doorstep of Danny and his girlfriend Misty Knight here, and he's nearly dead. He nearly goes into cardiac arrest and nearly dies, but they save him. This book really felt more like a Iron Fist book. This felt more like an Iron Fist book's guest starring the other Defenders, like Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer. But the bottom line is that Matt, I keep saying Matt, Danny has to put an end to something that he should have been put an end to, and stop the person involved in killing all the other immortal weapons. Because there's only like 4 of them left now, because there was originally 7. Now I think there's only 4 left. But other than that, it was okay, not bad. But it felt like more of a Iron Fist book, guest starring the other Defenders. And it seems that Danny, stop saying Matt, Danny and Misty Knight are over. She breaks up with him in this book. Kind of messed up. I really enjoyed that relationship. So the next book is another Fraction book, and that is Invincible Iron Man number 516. This is the Long Way Down Part 1. I guess this is the Iron Man No More story arc that's going on. If I'm believing, I think Fraction is about to leave the book. Dumb mistake. This is the best book he's writing. And we're seeing a lot more play into what's going on with the Mandarin. We get to see a new version of Firebrand and Crimson Dynamo. Both are females. And we see that the Mandarin may be pulling everybody's strings in this. And pretty much like that, it's getting really in depth, to the point where Tony is like, you know what, I'm done. Goes to the what does he go to? He goes to this general and says, "You win. I'm not Iron Man no more. I quit." That was the end of the book right there. So is Tony really going to give up being Iron Man? Because he even says the Cap, I'm taking a leave of absence from the Avengers. Whatever. I'm not buying it. Alright. Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man number 10. This is basically a one-on-one session with Miles and his uncle, who is the Prowler of this universe. And his uncle Aaron is pretty much trying to get him to join to fight the Scorpion in this. The Scorpion is this criminal who was down in Mexico City and has come to New York, and now he's thinking he needs to be the new kingpin of New York. And Miles doesn't know what to do. He knows that his uncle is a thief and everything like that, but it's still his uncle, and he still wants to help. But it's kind of hard to say what Miles is going to do with is he going to help or is he not? I'm not going to spoil if he does he join in, but it's still been good. Alright, and next up, Venom number 17. Like I said, still celebrating 24 years of Venom. Congratulations. Rick Remender still does a very good job on this book. Flash calls up Hank Pym and tells him, Mr. Pym, I need the symbiote. Send it down. He makes up a story like, he's going to go, help the cops with this, but he's really going to take out the Crime Master and Jack-O-Lantern and all of them, so they don't go after Betty and his mom. In the meantime, like I said in the last issue, we've been seeing Eddie Brock has been going on this self-proclaimed holy war to kill off all the offsprings of the original symbiote. And his primary target has been the Venom symbiote. And who has the Venom symbiote? Flash. Flash finds where Crime Master and sees that he's put together this group called the Savage Six, made up of Jack-O-Lantern, the Human Fly, I'm forgetting the other members, but the other 5 members before we see who the 6 members. And just when he's about to take the shot at Crime Master, here comes Eddie Brock and blows it for him, and he's like, damn it Brock, get out of here. And then he's like, the symbiotes must be purged from the city. And he's talking more like a crusader now, holy crusader. And he's kind of flipping his lid now. Eddie Brock is just when they made him like this big hero in Spider Island, they making him like he's this crazed holy warrior now, and he's getting crazy now about it. But it was really good. It was intense, very in depth. Shine just on Venom as it needs to be. This is his book, but it's the ending, what happens to not the Flash, that happens to Eddie Brock, that really is like, oh shit. Like, oh god. Like, basically they put it like this: just when they pull him out, they put him back in something that he got freed of. Yeah, because if you know, guys, the Crime Master has one of the symbiotes, but I'm not gonna mention what symbiote he has. But poor Eddie Brock, just can't stay out of him. But but you know what, Marvel, good job in doing it though, because I'm glad you kind of, keeping Eddie in the fold and not putting him in that comic book void like DC is doing. with some of their characters.
Really, really, really.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, last but not least, X Factor number 235. Peter David, still no slouch. It seems that this has taken a little bit of reality wise once again. Here in New York, guys, um, there there were there was an actual group of costume vigilantes going around New York City and patrolling the city. Law and Order did a piece on it as well, and this is kind of what this is like. The X Factor takes a case in Seattle where would-be wannabe heroes, vigilantes, dressing up, patrolling the streets of Seattle, are being killed off. And there's kind of some conflict. There's still some conflict going on between Havoc and uh, Marduk, Multiple Man, over pretty much the leadership, and Multiple Man and Shatterstar realize they's like, oh, we're gonna take the case no matter what, and they head to Seattle and dress up as wannabe heroes with this group called the Externals. Get it? And they go undercover, and that's where it really gets intense, with, so to speak, of what to do with what's going on. Shatterstar meets the individual that has been killing off the heroes, these would-be heroes, and doesn't go too well for Shatterstar as well. But if I know Shatterstar like I do, he's an intense warrior, and that ain't gonna stop him. What was really funny was Shatterstar dressed up in his classic '90s look, as the costume, and he even says it. One of the guys says, he says to him, your costumes suck, and he's like, well, I would have put shoulder pads on it to make it look better. Now, if you know anything about Shatterstar, in his '90s look, he had shoulder pads, and it was kind of a joke for all those fans of the original costume that know what he's talking about. But it was good nonetheless. So that's it, guys, for my week of comics as well. It was fun. I had a good week this week. Everything was really, really great for me. So very good. But other than that, guys, as always, this is Mount Verde Kid saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real as always. As I always say, comic lovers out there, to all my fellow comic geeks out there, y'all keep it real, and I'll see you next time. Y'all take care.